Welcome in, everybody. Ty Bartellin with another edition of Coach's Corner, and I'm joined by a very special guest today, a man that I feel needs no introduction. He's known statewide as a legend in the sport of high school basketball. He is considered the GOAT by myself, the man, the myth, the legend. Hoban boys
I don't know
basketball,
about
Mr.
that.
TK
I don't know
Griffith.
about that,
TK,
Ty.
how are we
I've never heard that one before.
How are we doing today? Coach, it's another year getting ready and gearing up for hoops season. I know another year with you at the Hoban Knights helm. Talk to me about what you're seeing from the guys this year, too. Another successful trip to the regionals last year for your team. What do you see out of the guys this year? What's standing out to you this year from what you have seen?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things. I think number one, what's standing out is it's one of those typical seasons because Hoban football is doing so well again that they're deep into the playoffs. So we don't have two starters theoretically, as long as they're healthy and choose to play basketball, which I think they are, in Johnny Johnson and Sam Greer. So I hate to start with that because that negates the other guys, right? But the other guys who we do have, a few have been injured, and then but the other ones are just working their tails off, and they want to continue this legacy that we've had the last few years of pretty good basketball teams. So a lot of seniors like Kenny Scott and James McCarthy, Sam Costco, Cameron Ensley, who came back from an injury, Tyler Shadid, Bub Jennings, they all want to have their piece of the action. And then we've got some young guys like Brady Lucy, Owen Hamilton, Ethan Yukich, the Capraletti twins, and a few guys that I probably just forgot, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure I nailed them all. A lot of guys just working hard and trying to get a little varsity action this year.
Well, you know what the standard of Hoban basketball has been to. It's been a high standard of successful seasons and very tough gauntlet schedules that you guys always put forth in front of you. When you talk about keeping that standard of success, does the identity for teams change year to year, or does just the strengths that you play to change year to year? What would be the strengths of this team this year, you would say?
Yeah, no doubt. I think every team has its own identity, and I don't want any person or team to compare themselves. I try not to do that personally. I don't think we really last season even talked about the state championship team more than, yeah, maybe we mentioned it once or twice, but honestly, even that team had some highs and lows and had plenty of dysfunction. You know, we got it right at the right time, and God kind of blessed us with that run. So it's not like that was a perfect year either. It just ended kind of perfectly. But I think every team has its own identity. It has leaders. It has people who are chemistry guys. Every team has to find its own synergy and its own cohesion and how to play best together. And it kind of takes us a while sometimes at Hoban, just because, like I said, the football guys oftentimes come in late after maybe like a state championship run, and our schedule is kind of a bear these days. So you might be getting your butt kicked while you're trying to experiment with stuff. So yeah, every team has its own identity, but I don't want these kids to have to compare themselves against anything, because it's not really the way we don't set them up like that. At least I hope I don't. They might feel a little bit of it just because they know we've been good for several years, but it's not something we sit there and talk about every day. We just hope that they will be as good as they can be, whether that's 12-10 or whatever they can do that year. That's all we can hope.
Coach, you talked about that state championship run too. That was a previous 4 division format. I believe you guys were the smallest Division I school to ever win a state championship for the sport of basketball. But we talk about it now this year, expanded divisions. You guys are moving down a couple of divisions too. And I think it kind of evens things out playing field wise in the bigger schools. At least that's what I'm hearing from coaches. You're a legend in this game. You've been doing this a while too. You've been coaching high school basketball a while. What's your opinion on the expanded divisions, and how do you foresee it benefiting or maybe not benefiting the Knights?
Yeah. I mean, as far as in general, for every high school kid, it's nice to have more opportunities to have a dream run to a Final Four or a championship game. So I guess that part's good. I don't know if I love it going to 7 divisions. It seems a little watered down to me. Not that we're going to have anything to say about that. I'm just saying in general, it feels like a lot of basketball divisions. However, like I said, the joy of a tournament run is pretty special. And if more kids can celebrate that, I do understand that piece of it. As far as us, I don't think it's any better for us this year than it was because of how loaded Division III is. But I think there could be some years in the next 5 to 10 years at Hoban where it might help the coach. Perhaps that's going to be me. Perhaps it's going to be somebody else. Hopefully I can coach a little bit longer here, but because I love what I do. But I think it could benefit you if you land in that right spot, because obviously it's just a little bit, maybe a little bit. I don't want to say easier, but it could be one game shorter, maybe a little bit easier to get to that Final Four. I don't think it's ever easy to get to a Final Four, so I hate to even say that. But Division III this year, it doesn't look that easy for us because you got Garfield Heights, you got Louisville, St. V's, Gilmore, maybe CVCA. I haven't even looked, to be honest with you. I just know when I saw those four big dogs, I thought, oh man, this isn't going to be easy. So, but again, you just have to try to win one at a time. And maybe if you get in the right district, or maybe the right matchups, or you're playing well, you can make a run.
You talk about the gauntlet of a tournament that it might be in Division III with all those big names too, but I know you guys always prepare yourself for the tournament with a gauntlet of a regular season schedule. Talk about some games that are highlighted on the schedule for you this year that you're excited to test the Knights against.
Yeah, I'm the type of guy that doesn't like to look at the schedule too much. I just kind of figure out what practice is tonight,
Yeah,
because it just builds anxiety and stuff like that for me.
yeah.
But I know we play two Columbus teams that are really good, Dublin Jerome, and I think it's Westerville Christian or Worthington Christian. I know we play St. V's, Walsh, Gilmore. I know we play Warren, JFK, Louisville, although I heard Louisville might have just dropped us because they got into something else, which is a bummer. We play maybe the marquee team besides the obvious ones might be a team from Kentucky, Newport High School, not Newport Catholic, but Newport High. And I heard they had one of the best players in the nation if he stayed, and they're a loaded program. That's at the Smithfield tournament. Um, I'm just mentioning a few, and I hate to even. There's a Pittsburgh North Catholics coming in. There's not really an easy game on our schedule that I can find. I just know it's going to be a CVCA. Futch has done a great job there. There's just a lot of tough games.
How do you breed that into your players too? Because when you have a schedule like that, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to, okay, this is a game where we could catch our breath, maybe, I guess, pad the stats a little bit, feel good about ourselves, right? There's really no hiding spots too. So how do
Yeah,
you, I guess, get that mentality out of your players too, to
right.
be okay going in the schedule, knowing that there might be some lumps along the season?
Yeah. I mean, it's not fun because that's when everybody starts falling apart and stuff. It's just human instinct, right? We were 2-4 last year with a couple kind of embarrassing losses early. Um, and I feel like it's a crucible moment for that team and for those kids because they have to start looking at each other in the mirror. How am I practicing? It's hard to get guys in games sometimes when they're very tight games, right? So your rotations get sticky. And I don't feel good about that as a coach because you want to give that guy who's number 8, 9, or 10 a little bit of playing time, right? But then you're nervous about the win. You don't get the win. It happened a lot to us last year. Warren, JFK kicked our butt. Louisville kicked our butt. Two other teams that I've blocked out. I don't know. We were 2-4. All I know is we weren't playing very well. So it's a great question. We just try not to get too high or too low. To be honest with you, I think hopefully the kids that have been around know that we weren't even that perfect when we've had really, really good runs. I think one of the regional teams had 7 losses. One of them probably had 8 losses. I can't remember records right now. Even the state championship team, I think we had lost 3 games, maybe 4. So losses can be good for you. I hope there's enough breathing room to get some wins too, because you want that confidence to come back.
You talk about what you've been able to do as a coach in your 30 years with the Hoban Knights too, and just your coaching experience in general. You always get the most out of your kids too. And I know that's always, like you said previous in this interview, that it's always one of your goals to get the most out of your kids, regardless of records. And I truly believe that every player I've ever seen play for you, I feel like I see them play with 110% out there on the court for you at all times. What's your secret? What's your trick to getting the most out of your players year in and year out, and how you've been able to do it so consistently for so long?
Yeah. I don't think it's a secret. I think it's a lot of it is the benefit of being at Hoban and the kind of families and the kind of kids that we attract. I've always felt like Hoban gives out a very authentic vibe to the community, and a vibe of work ethic and a vibe of blue collar type of people for the most part. And so because we give out that vibe in our admissions and people kind of know us for that, then we attract those type of families, right? So then when they come to Hoban, it's not like I have to, come up with some magic pill. I hope then once they get into the basketball program, we try to be honest with kids and proud of the opportunity to represent Hoban, and hopefully we're also authentic, and maybe hopefully some years if it was a good year, I think they want to do well for you as the coaches, the assistants, Norm, all of our guys. They have good relationships, probably better relationships with the other guys than me because I'm getting old now. But they want to perform well for their parents. They want to perform well for our community, and I think on the good years they want to make the coach proud too. So it's kind of like a lot of intangible qualities that I don't think it's anything special that we're doing that other people aren't doing. Hopefully, for them and for everybody, because the basketball coaches are pretty good across the board. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but so I don't think it's a secret sauce other than just trying to change, evolve, get better every year. I like learning about the game and stuff like that, so that's kind of fun. I like experimenting with stuff. Hopefully, we try to keep it fun. The last 5 years, I think we've tried to keep it fun too. I don't like to go 3-hour practices. I like to go 90 minutes, maybe 100 minutes. I don't want to. I want these guys to love basketball in late February, not hope the season ends.
When we
We're
talk
not
about
getting on the lines running 25 down and backs every day, which is just stupid to me. If we practice hard and get after it, then they're gonna, and we go hard for 90 minutes or maybe 100 minutes, then there's gonna be joy for the game. Like when practice is over, if the guys are still shooting around and wanting to be in the gym, then I know I've got it right. If they leave right away, then I know something's wrong. So I like to leave them with a little bit hanging, and then I see guys wanting to stay in the gym, work on their game, work on their shot, and then those are the years where you're like, okay, we got this figured out because they still like basketball somehow.
I love it. I love it. And when we talk about wanting to represent their community, wanting to represent Hoban, I think it starts at the top. And I feel like there's really not many better people that represent Hoban than you. I feel like you exemplify Hoban in a person, man. I mean, principal, graduate, you've won state championships as a player, as a coach. I mean, you've done a lot with it, with this Archbishop Hoban community. Talk to me about the love, man, the deep-rooted love you have for it, to keep coming back year in and year out, keep representing it to the highest of standards.
Yeah. It's family. It's family to me. It's just my whole life. Tough to put that one in words because my dad went to Hoban, my father-in-law went to Hoban, my wife went to Hoban, I went to Hoban, my kids went to Hoban, my aunts and uncles. So it's been just what my whole life has been about. So therefore, it's easy because it comes natural to want it to be kind of like a lighthouse for society. It kind of keeps society safe, and then graduates its people. They go on, but yet we stay there, kind of like Motel 6. We'll keep the light on. We'll keep the light burning for the next generation, and just wanting to be a good place for society. And there's a lot of people beyond me, a million people beyond me, who are also feel the same stuff towards Hoban, the same love towards Hoban. And there's a lot of families that have been third, fourth generations. That might have been the key to that tournament run. Is like you had the Greers, who were third generations, the Hardmans, second generations. My son was third generation. There was a lot of blood there that you don't always get that at the Catholic schools because sometimes people move away. So to answer your question, it's just something that comes naturally to me because that's what I've devoted my life to.
I love it, man. And from an outsider too, that's been able to see what you guys do over there at Archbishop Hoban too. I love what you guys do for your community and for your kids, no doubt. Couple more questions for you, Coach. I can't let you go without shouting out the rest of your coaching staff and other big names that are in this Knights basketball community and team.
Yeah. Tim Lucy has been with me since 1997 when he played for me and graduated, and his son Brady's going to be a junior. Norm Jesser played for me and was with me when his father passed away as a senior, and we've been very close ever since. Matt Vowles runs our Classic in the Castle tournament this weekend, and also is kind of like our director of basketball operations from the backside. Matt Monter is going to be the JV coach this year. He was the head coach at Dalton. He's been in Hoban for a couple of years in athletics. He was the assistant at Jackson when they went to the state tournament. I used to sit by him when he was 8 or 10 years old at the state tournament with him and his dad. So it's cool to have him on board. Bob Lucy's going to help out with freshmen with Robbie Griffith. Steve White's still there. And I probably missed somebody who I'm going to feel horrible about right now. But I don't think I missed anybody. Those are the guys that are helping us out this year. Ian Adams moved on to Woodridge. He's a head coach. So he got his first head coaching gig, which is cool for him. And I think I hit most of the assistants. If I missed one of you guys, I'm sorry.
A lot of your assistants too have gone on too to coach other places too, and it's also a testament to what you are doing too as a coach, teaching younger coaches in the game as well. One of my theme questions for all head coaches this year, TK, has been the lessons the game teaches, and I know you've been a big teacher and a big proponent in the sport of basketball, teaching young men and how it relates the sport to real life scenarios. But I actually want to know what the biggest lesson the sport of basketball has taught you.
Uh, Probably the power of resilience and humility. I think the game will always humble you. But resilience goes along with that, because how do you bounce back from those moments where you may feel a little humbled or humiliated, or humility. Humbled is the verb, but I think then how do you bounce back from that? How do you stay resilient when you don't want to go to practice that day, or a parent's mad at you, or you have a tough parent meeting that night, or three kids aren't playing and they kind of dislike the whole thing? How do you stay resilient and kind of draw them in, and make sure that everybody feels valued? So that's the magic part, is trying to make sure everybody feels valued. It's hard to maintain team, because we all have egos. So I've mentioned 5 things right now, but humility and resilience, I guess, will be my 2.
Final question for you, TK, because the opening tip of high school basketball for so long has started around Thanksgiving time. We don't know if it's going to be next year or the years coming if they vote differently on that, but it started at Thanksgiving around that time for so long. So because of that, I need you to do 3 things for me. First, shout out your first game. Second, shout out the Hoban community. Let them know why they need to support this team this year. And also shout out your favorite Thanksgiving Day dish.
Oh, awesome. We open up late because of football. So December 12th at Archbishop Hoban. It's a Thursday night against Pittsburgh North Catholic, who we've never played before in Hoban history. So that's cool. Secondly, I really want the community to come out and support these kids who haven't really all had their opportunity to play a ton of varsity basketball. For some of them, it'll be a little bit new to be on the floor. We have some veterans too, but I think we could be we could be a fun team to watch, because I think we're going to play very hard. And then, without a doubt, pecan pie from Stacked Bakery here in Akron. They've got the
Really?
best flavoring on the inside. Now, that they stole the formula from Osmond's Pies, who's not around anymore, but a pecan pie is without a doubt my favorite, especially with some Cool Whip on it.
You're the first one giving love to pecan pie. I've heard other pies too, but I'm gonna have to check out Stack's Bakery. All right, Stack. We're gonna have
Yeah,
to
you
check
you
them out.
won't go wrong. You
All
won't go
right.
wrong. I already ordered my pie.
You already have it on free delivery. I love it.
Yep,
I
yep.
love it.
It's ordered. I'm picking it up Wednesday. Trust me, it's the biggest part of Thanksgiving for me.
Well, Coach, I love it. I wish you a happy Thanksgiving, but I also wish you the best of luck this season. I love this Knights team. I can't wait to get back in the castle, see what you guys got going on, and see what this edition of the Hoban Knights basketball squad looks like.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ty. Appreciate your support.
Anytime, Coach. It's been in the first edition of Coach's Corner with TK Griffith.